First of all, we have a rating system in club accreditation, AFF, so highest being the 5-star. So there are only 2-star rated academy in India that self speaks about the quality that is provided at the academy. So in terms of player development, it actually started as a model academy for the Indian Super League clubs when the ISL started. So it started as a model for them, but later on it continued. We started with one age group, then moved on to next age group, third age group. So we have 5 age group team at the moment. And then it's not only about just football development, it's all about holistic player development. So academic as well as football is taken care of equally. It's not just you play football and forget about the studies. So studies is equally important for us. Not only if you don't become a 100%, it's not guaranteed that you will go on to become a professional. Yeah, very less percentage of them they make it as a professional. But what if they don't make it as a professional? So we prepare them to be a good human being. At the same time, academically, they are also prepared. So this is one of the standout thing that we provide at the academy.
And given that RFY has been producing so much young talents, recently that they're performing really well in the teams that we see them, joining the ISL clubs. Any plans to send the kids abroad to foreign clubs, or has there been any interest from foreign teams?
There are a lot of rules that are in place in foreign countries. If you have to sign young players from other countries, like players, clubs in Europe, if they have to import players, they have to pay a big salary to the players. And then, India being lower in their rankings, it becomes difficult for us to make it to the academy. But still, every year we send few kids for exposure trip and make them train with the clubs there. Some of the clubs have really shown interest. There were 3 kids who went for a trial in Japan last year. They really impressed them. But when they came back, they graduated from the academy, and then the clubs were approaching them, and they signed for the ISL club. So similarly, there were a few kids who decided to take up academics and pursue higher studies abroad. So we have around 3 kids who are studying in US now through 100% scholarship through football. So some of them, parents and the kids are very good in academics, and they play good football as well. So football helped them to get those scholarship and pursue their higher studies in US now.
You being from Arunachal, and as far as I remember, you were the last player from Arunachal to represent India professionally.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about football development in Arunachal particularly?
Not the last. I think last SAF Cup there was a boy from Arunachal, yes, Chikro. He played the under 20 SAF Cup, represented India as well. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then we have a couple of boys who's doing really well at national club competitions. But yes, representing India is the ultimate aim for any football players to play with. So I think we're moving in the right direction slowly, but it all comes down to the structure in your state. Of lately, our association have been doing a lot of good work. We have seen recent tie-up with Northeast United to develop grassroots football, and then we hosted the Santos Trophy in our state with good facilities. These things are a sign of good progress. So if you have these competitions being organized in your home states, the popularity of the game goes up, and the kids start taking into sports more than they used to do before. So this will help the players coming generation to take up sports seriously, and then I hope they can also make it big in the national football scenario.
Rime, after you, I'm not seeing any players coming from football. Central government giving many states through Kiren Rijiju Sahib is trying to do in weightlifting, boxing, judo, but not in football. Like you came out suddenly and you have shined. I think in professional life, you are spending times in Mumbai or other state also to have a academy. Like I think, why not government have taken attention as a bordering state of China in Arunachal in football, especially in football, I will say.
See, that is something for the government to answer you why they are not doing it. Maybe they have some plans, or they in the days to come they might announce something.
Getting
But
important
as a
in
sports
other
person,
games, not in football.
Uh,
Why?
yeah, so that is something, they are in a better position to answer you why they are not doing, because
Yeah,
I would definitely like to see them investing more in football, because being from football background, I would like to see there are a lot of football activities happening, a lot of grassroots activities happening. Leagues are played at a better, or it's organized in a much better way. So those things definitely, as a sports person, I would like to see that.
not
Something
like
policy
first way.
making is not in my hand,
Not
it's
like
difficult.
first way. Then whatever Mizoram doing after Manipur.
Mhm.
No, now Manipur is prevailing on tense situation. That is different thing.
Mhm.
But they produced more national footballers or international footballers. Now Mizoram has come. Why not Arunachal? That is my question.
I will attribute this to a league structure. Okay, if you see any country or any state where the league structure is strong, the football thrives there.
Yeah.
The club culture grows. There are a lot of football activities happening there. Manipur, the state league started long ago when other states in the northeast were not registered with AIFF. They had their
Yes.
leagues on that time, since then.
Yes.
So they have a very strong footballing culture, much ahead of us. Mizoram Premier League, again, another example of how to organize a state league. Mizoram Premier League is organized in a very big way. So the players, when you have a league structure, the competition goes on for a longer period. You involve the players for a longer period. There is club culture, and there are youth systems sets up. So these things all cumulatively helps the football to grow.
Yeah.
So similarly, I played my football back in Guwahati. Those days, players from Shillong, Mizoram, Manipur used to come to Guwahati to play the Guwahati League, GSA League.
Yeah.
So I think they were, maybe the financially it was also much stronger than other associations. Now you see Shillong Premier League is there. Now you see Mizoram Premier League is there. So
Yes.
players from Guwahati are moving out to play those leagues. There is no incoming of talent here, which helps and push the local talent to do better.
Yeah,
So that is something which is lacking.
still lacking.
In case of my state, we were stagnated for quite a long time, and then suddenly we picked up because we started the league. The moment we started our own state league, like Mr. Namchum was there, like we have Indrajit Namchum, in his name, we started the league, Arunachal Football League. The moment we started the league, then we started seeing the clubs are being formed, there are players are being registered, and there are having youth teams. So these things definitely help the football to grow in your state. So since then, we have seen that we have really taken stride. Honestly, during my time in my state, when we used to play northeastern games and all, we were the kind of whipping boys. Nagaland, Mizoram, we play. They used to beat us 6-0, 5-0. But
No fair.
now we are competing. Rather, we are challenging them now.
But
So,
I think still some lacking still.
Mhm.
You know, there is a Northeast Football Development Association recently held at Pobitora. We were attended in that meeting. That was meeting at midnight.
Okay.
We'll say some football invited us.
Mhm.
But I have seen no action packed program. I have seen between the 7 states. Why I don't know. Only a committee have formed yearly they sit
no,
and that's all.
as far I know, like, I'm not 100%, but this will be a franchisee-based league. Franchisee-based league.
Yeah.
So will be named as a Northeast Super League, franchisee-based league. So teams will be invited. The clubs have to float their tender, and then they have to bid for the franchisee, and then they will make a team, and there will be a tournament. This will be a tournament. So it's not like Assam have a league, and the league champions goes there. The one who wants to participate there has to bid for the franchisee. So that is so far what I understand about this thing. So first of all, Assam must have its own structured club competitions, and then then the winner of the club competition is nominated to participate in the I League 3.
Yeah.
Then I League 3, from I League 3, then you are nominated for I League 2, and then if you win I League 2, you are into I League 1. If you win the I League 1, then you get into Indian Super League. So there is a pathway for everything. So everyone has to go through that.
But it became too late. I will ask you two important points.
Mhm.
Earlier I told you why I made it corridor.
Mhm.
You know, Pico Banerjee, when he has taken a football team, Indian team, for the 1985 sub football, his camp was at Shillong. I met him. He told me, Bucho, Pulin, if we prepare a team from Northeast,
Mhm.
I think it will be most powerful team. It is his idea.
Okay.
He told one day from this area, a footballer or a team or an India team will be able to play in World Cup. It is his vision. One thing. And another thing is that recently you have passed a license, I know that from O-level courses. I got information. So all these are positive points, is it not? But from government side or public side or from Northeast, whatever the association do, I don't know. Yearly a meeting held there somewhere in sitting in the say, next meeting I think at Tripura they have decided. But the progress of football is not developing like Northeast. We are lucky that Abraham have sponsored this Northeast United FC. But no sponsor from Seven State has come forward or has come forward to support Abraham. This is very disgusting, I would say.
I think here every state must play their own role. Like in Meghalaya, you can see Rangdajit United, you have Shillong Lajong FC having their own team, participating at the top level in I League. Yeah, and then Mizoram have its Aizawl FC, Manipur have its Neroka, and Trau. They are competing at I League. So now other states should also compete at that level, try to compete at that level. Like why not a team from Assam? In terms of infrastructure, yeah, Assam has the best infrastructure when it comes to if you compare northeastern states. We have the best facility here, but again, league structure has to be there. There has to be youth competition there. If you do a grassroots activity for 6 to 10 years of kid, and then you just have a league, where these kids between 10 to 18 years will go. You must have a pathway for them as well. You must have a competition for them as well. This is the difference between us and the developed footballing nations. They have every age category of this 10 to 18 years of age. They play minimum of 35 to 40 games per year. Minimum of 35 to 40 games. How do we give them? That should be our concern. In regionally, my state should focus more on that. Assam should focus more on that. Then there's a pathway. Then when it comes to senior level, we call it talent pool. The number of talented players will be more to pick from. Now you have to select a state team. You struggle to find the best 11. Then if you have a lot more to choose from, it becomes easier. Like in football, especially in coaching, we say less is more because we talk about quality. But now, when you have to select players, more is better. The more you have more to choose from. So you need to you need to have more kids playing. So now we have a program. Even in Assam, there's a program going on. Why players come from district? Why not from Guwahati? That is something from the people living in Guwahati must think about. Why players are coming from only Kokrajhar? Why Shivsagar, Dibrugarh, Namru? These are the places where the top footballers are coming from Assam. Why not the Guwahati? Why not Moregaon? These areas are not developing players. So the headquarters is based in Guwahati. So that is something they have to think about it and then work on. There's a program in Upper Assam supported by Oil Lakshya Football Development Program. Okay, so they have 74 teams participating in that age category tournament. Every year they have a tournament called Masters Cup, under 10, under 15 tournaments. Every year they have where 30, 40 kids teams comes and participate. Oil Lakshya have 30 centers, where and then they conducted coaching courses for them. So they have certified coaches training their grassroots centers. So this kind of initiative can be taken all over the state. And then with the population we have, if everyone is involved, there will be more players coming up.
What about your present coaching system in Northeast? What do you think?
See, the structure helps the player to develop. If you have certified coaches, qualified coaches, but there is no tournament or there is no competition happening for the kids, it makes no sense. It has to go hand in hand. Definitely quality coaches produce quality players. There's a saying. So if the kids are in wrong hands, the kids can be destroyed. Yeah, we have seen an instant. One video was quite viral where we saw a physical education teacher kicking and beating a player after they lost the game. These things do happen, and that kid, you can never expect him to come back to sports. You have killed his dream there itself. So that's why the coach education is not there to, do a magic to develop the football in the state or in the region, but it helps the coaches to understand the methodology of training. It helps the coaches to understand the principles to implement and how to approach the training sessions. These are the things that is taught in the coach education system. Now it's up to the structure of the state where how the football is being played, how the competition is being organized, how many age group tournaments are being held. These things will come together along with quality coaching will definitely take football forward.
एक बात है,
Do you feel we have enough qualified coaches in Northeast in terms of football?
Now, in terms of population, who has the highest population?
Football.
Who is the highest population in Northeast? Assam. How many A licensed coaches are there? Only one. Just recently passed. Shubham Rama. Shubham Rama just recently passed. I come from Arunachal, where the population is lesser than state population is lesser than Guwahati. Okay, and we have two A licensed coaches, and I just finished my pro license, and we have two specialized certified coaches in goalkeeping, and like similarly, Manipur have two pro license. They have around 15 A licensed coaches. Meghalaya have around 8 to 10 A licensed coaches. Mizoram have around 6 to 7 A licensed coaches. So these are also things that we need to introspect about ourselves. Are we supporting the coach education system? Because coaches has to invest. They have to put money into his education program. He has to invest a lot of money to become a coach. After that, what is there for him? Is there clubs where he can go and coach, or he can run an academy and make generate some revenue for him? He has to survive.
Yes.
So these are the things, there are a lot of questions we need to ask ourselves. Are we helping these causes?
आपको एक बात अच्छा लगेगा, ये तो बिटर ट्रूथ है।
हाँ।
असम को लेकर सबको बोलता है, जो 7 नॉर्थ ईस्ट या सिक्किम को पकड़ लिया, 8 नॉर्थ स्टेट पकड़ेगा। आप देखिएगा इन सब स्टेट में एक्सेप्ट सिक्किम थोड़ा अलग हो गया, फुटबॉल में अच्छा एडवांस किया है, वो प्रोग्रेस किया। बाकी सब स्टेट में इंडिविजुअल गेम को प्रोफिशिएंसी जितना मिलता है, जितना है, उतना फुटबॉल एज ए टीम गेम में कम किया है। कि आप क्या बोलते हैं इसमें, किस लिए होता है? इंडिविजुअल में आप देखिए,
it's on camera, there are a lot of things, if I speak, it can go, so I don't want to speak so much on that. Like,
आप निकले अरुणाचल से, we are proud.
Sikkim,
आपको तो शुरुआत से मिला है हमको।
Sikkim में they have 2 sports hostel dedicated to football. Do you have in Assam? Do I have in my state Arunachal? No. So वो भी एक है। सिक्किम छोटा स्टेट है, they have managed it very well. They have 2 sports hostel, one is Namchi and one in Gangtok. So in Namchi they bring the kid at the age of 12 to 14 years of age. They groom them there, the basics, and from Namchi the graduated one move to Gangtok, and where they are 16 years onward they train up to 18 years. So these are the things that are happening there in that small state. And then we see Bachung Bhutia, Nirmal Chetri, Sanju Pradhan, Vikas Zeru, so many, Purbala Chenpa, Kunjang Bhutia. There's so many players coming out from there. Mizoram, of course, have a very strong grassroots active program going on. Manipur, of course, the strongest sporting culture we have, not only football, be it any sports, we can't compete with Manipur because in every sport they have Olympian. Yeah? So sport culture is deep rooted in Manipur. So that's why if we have to develop, we have to look at someone who is doing better than us. What are they doing to become better? Maybe we can learn from them as well.
You started coaching, I think, in Shillong was around 2012-13.
2010 to be precise.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, it's 2024, 14 years.
Yeah.
How much of a change have you seen as a role of a coach? And particularly, being a goalkeeping specialized coach, how much has that changed?
I think role of coach never changes, but the methodology you approach keep changing because football evolves, because the tactic changes. So then our approach also changes. But the role of a coach is to mentor the players, is to push him to where he by himself cannot go. So that is something we as a coach try to push the player, and then work on his certain thing that he can't unlock himself. Something he knows that there is something in him, but he's not aware of it. That is something where the coaches help him to identify his strength, and then become better player. That is, I think, universal. So, but of course, the football have changed from how we used to play football in our days and how the football is being played today. There's a big difference. There are a lot of systems coming up every year. There are a lot of playing pattern changes, depending on quality of players you have, depending on the weather condition you have. You change approaches. So I think the methodology have changed. Yeah, a lot of use of sports science have become very essential in modern football. Those days we can never dream of using those devices today we use in training. We use the kind of support we get from GPS data, that how much the player is running, how much the player is sprinting, how much distance he is covering. Those things in today's football, we use those metrics to see players' development or players' performance.
And coach, you've coached senior teams, you've coached, now you're in an academy. How different and how much more challenging is coaching in an academy compared to a senior team where it's all about results?
Yes, I think pressure is there both way, but there is more pressure to win games at the top level, because at the professional level it's all about winning, because result matters there. Because the club, if you're working in a professional club, the club owner wants you to win. Now it's how to win is your problem. So as a coach, then we have a team of coaches, head coach, assistant coach, goalkeeping coach, fitness coach, and now that we have mental coaches as well. So together they all work together to bring the best out of the team that you have to win the game. When it comes to youth system, I think there is you have equal challenges, but I enjoy more working with the young kids, because there you can see them grow, and then when you see them from 10 to 12 years of age to 18 years, 19 years, when they make their professional debut, that's where the best satisfaction comes from. Okay, the player is in a good level. Now it's up to him to take it further where he can go, because our job ends after he moves out of the academy. So in youth development, it's not about his just football development. It's all about the personality development also, and then how you help him to become an individual. That also matters a lot in youth system. These are the two different things. In professional, it doesn't matter what you do, where you go, as long as you're performing on the field. Yeah. So, but at youth level, you are there not only as a coach, you are there as a parent, because you have to take care of them like a guardian, like a parent. You have to raise them up through football. Plus, his personality development also has to be taken care of.
Coach, very recently I was speaking with the Punjab FC coach, Thanos Dilambris, and he mentioned the need for India to set up specific goalkeeping school at least.
Yeah.
Where a school or a academy where only goalkeepers are trained, and a special style of keeping, or like we have sweeper keepers in modern football.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
He's absolutely right. In Europe, there are football schools, there are goalkeeper schools where it's once or twice in a week. If you are a goalkeeper, you go there, and you only the technical things will be taught there, especially specific to goalkeeping, and then you go and back to your training. But I'm talking about young kids. But when they become older, they go and train with the team, because it's a team game, so you have to integrate with the team. So, but to understand about technicalities, you have to enroll in a goalkeeping school, and once again, we need to have a lot of specialized coaches. Yeah, so in India, we have very limited goalkeeping coaches, and slowly, numbers are increasing. Again, from I think there's only two, one from Assam who have done his goalkeeping license. Uh, Manish Singh from Guwahati itself. So he has done his goalkeeping level 1. So not many states have a specialized goalkeeping coaches. So goalkeeping being a specialized subject, you need to have someone who have played as a goalkeeper and then get into the coaching role of a goalkeeping coach. Then definitely that will help him to become better.
Coach, also if we see Indian footballers, I personally feel that, and I'm sure others would agree too, it's the goalkeepers that we've constantly produced that are of maybe quality in Asia. And we can see Subrata Paul playing abroad, Gurpreet playing abroad. Our goalkeepers are also the only players that went abroad and sort of managed to get proper game time. What is your thought process about us producing so good goalkeepers compared to the rest of the positions?
It's not from now. Yes, we have seen Bhaskar Ganguly's days time, those days time. Have seen Atanu Bhattacharya being picked in the Asian All-Star 11. Yeah, we have heard about Peter Tangraj. There's a movie which is, we have not seen him play, but we have heard about their stories. How impactful they were in their performance. Now also we can see that, yeah, some of our goalkeepers have went on to play abroad. Of course, goalkeeping is something, maybe it comes down to the team performance also. When one team is stronger, the more focus is on our goalkeeper because the ball is played in our half. So our goalkeepers get to do a lot more action than the actual outside players. So we also get to see some good performance. Even Indian Super League first season, if you see, there were all the teams had foreign goalkeepers. Now slowly, we realized that our goalkeepers are not far behind, and then we started putting our goalkeepers, and they started performing, and it is helping our boys. Now we don't have any foreign goalkeeper in the team, so everyone have Indian goalkeepers. So that speaks about the quality of the goalkeepers that we are producing.
And for any budding young footballer that wants to become a footballer, what would be your one-line message for them?
I think
Also for the parents.
Yes, very important. Like for the parents and the
first of all, for the kids, or anyone, I would say, follow your passion, because if you don't love the game, you cannot achieve success in that. You have to love the game to become better in whatever you do. If you don't enjoy playing, then you can't become better. So you have to love it, you have to enjoy it, and you have to dream big to play better. And then, there are a lot of hard, talented players are there, but in the end of the day, if you don't work hard, talent is a waste. So you must be very hardworking and dedicated to perform. You have to do a lot of sacrifice. If you want to live as a sports person, you have to live a life of a sports person. So you have to let go so many things which is not good to become a football player. So for parents, I think when they're young, encourage them to take up sports, not with an intention to make them a professional player. Engage them in sports to become a healthy person. It will help you, and they will stay away from bad habits. Like a lot of we heard about people getting into drugs and other things. So this will keep them away from them. The sports teaches so many things. Sports, not only football, sports teaches so many things. Hard work, to fight, to compete, to be a leader, to work as a team. This teaches so many things. So it's a win-win situation. If you kids make it as a professional, that's a bonus. If you don't make it as a professional, he still becomes a good human being. He still becomes a strong personality. So put them in sports, encourage them in sports, and you will never lose anything.
and if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. Long back, you said your ideal while growing up was Jorge Campos, your
Yes.
favorite goalkeeper. Any particular reasons?
Uh, Today you see all the goalkeepers are minimum 183, 84, 85 centimeters. Yeah, that's the demands of the game. Yeah, trends of the game, which is the requirement of the game today is you want to have a 6 footer minimum. So, but we played in an era where there were a lot of short goalkeepers were also, because the short people are more acrobatic, maybe due to gravitation also, but we are more acrobatic and more agile. So when I grew up and watching football, we saw the first World Cup I watched was Mexico '86. So we saw Mexico playing against top countries, and then George Campos is 5 feet 6 inches playing at the World Cup. Not just playing, and then he was one of the top performers in that World Cup because being the host, Mexico being the host, and he was a top performer in that competition. If someone of that stature can perform at that stage, yes, why can't I? So if you are good enough, you are big enough. So that was my motivation to pursue as a goalkeeper.
Coach had asked a question. You've been with RFYC for the last 7-8 years nearly.
Yeah.
Is there one particular player from your grassroots programs that you have seen transform massively from the Northeast? Someone that you remember?
In the RFYC?
Yes.
From RFYC setup,
From the grassroots.
from the first, second, third batch, now we can see from Northeast, we have seen Sivaldo, who is playing for Bengaluru FC in a BFC. He played under 23 India last year. So that is something, that is one of the remarkable achievement that we made as an academy. And from Northeast, there were a lot of players there who was playing in the during my tenure. I think in Reliance, Shivaldo is one of the key players that we have produced, who have played on to, who have represented the country. So there are other players like Thoi Singh. Thoi is 1 year batch older than Shivaldo, so he's playing for Northeast United. Similarly, there are a couple of other players who is playing in lower divisions, but the top two players are Thoi and Shivaldo from Northeast.
But and you also spoke about usage of scientific methods being employed in the grassroots player levels now. So, what sort of transformation have you seen, since the days you were training?
It all comes down to load management sometimes, because sometimes if you don't know how much to train, how much load to give to a player, then it can harm the individual. We want to push the player, but we are humans, we have limitations. There is a threshold where he cannot go beyond that. So this sports science helps us in that. Now we have to stop now, because if you push him beyond this, he can get injured. His muscle can break down. There can be injury. So then, these are the things, some of the things that help us. And then some of the players who is not pushing themselves enough. These GPS data give us an indication that, okay, his high speed running is this much, his distance covered is this much, whereas for his position, he should be covering a lot more distance. Give us an indication that the player is not pushing himself much. Then we show them the stats. Okay, we have to do more. If some of them overdoing things, then we have to take him out, and then we have to say, okay, now it's time for you to stay. And then there are things like growth spurt. When you're working with young players, at the time of growth spurt, you'll see that the kids complain of pain without being tackled, without being pushed by anyone. They will complain of pain. As a coach, we are not aware of that. Why is he complaining of pain? It's normal. Yesterday you took a rest. Today you're complaining pain. So the medical department team, they help us in this. Okay, he's going through a growth spurt. It's a growth pain. So we need to monitor his load. Then we modify the training so that it doesn't affect his joints. When they're growing, the joints are affected. So that helps us in monitoring the load of the player. And then, we avoid causing injury to the player. So sports science helps us in a big way, and determining someone's predicted adult height, how tall a player can grow, how fast he can run, how strong he can, how quickly he can accelerate. Through a lot of testings, we get to know about individual quality of the player, and the player profiling is done. Once you know the player profiling, then to promote him or to scout a new talent, then it gives us an idea, okay, this player can make it big or have a lesser chances of making it big. So then accordingly the choices are made. So sports science, I think in modern football we cannot think of sports without sports science.
গুৱাহাটীৰ মাজমজিয়াত নৰ্থ ইষ্টৰ প্ৰথমখন এক্সক্লুচিভ মাৰ্চেল আৰ্টছ সামগ্ৰীৰ শ্ব'ৰুম তথা বিপণী তিৰুপতি স্পৰ্টছ। কাৰাটে, উচো, টাইকোৱাণ্ডো, বক্সিং, জুজিটছু, পেঞ্চাক চিলা, জুডো আদি 7টাকৈ সমৰ কলা ইভেণ্টৰ ইউনিফৰ্ম আৰু প্ৰশিক্ষণৰ সামগ্ৰী ইয়াত উপলব্ধ। ট্ৰেকশ্বুট, জাৰ্চি, মাৰ্চেল আৰ্টছ মেডেল, মোমেণ্টো, ট্ৰফি ক্ৰয় কৰিব পাৰিব পাইকাৰী মূল্যত। ফুটবল, ভলীবল, বাস্কেটবল, ক্ৰিকেট আদি ইভেণ্টৰ সামগ্ৰীৰ ছাপ্লাইৰ বাবে অৰ্ডাৰো লোৱা হয়। কাৰাটে, টাইকোৱাণ্ডোৰ নেশ্যনেল ফেডাৰেশ্যনৰ দ্বাৰা এপ্ৰুভড ব্ৰেণ্ড আৰু আপ টু ডেট সামগ্ৰীৰ বাবে একমাত্ৰ বিশ্বাসযোগ্য আৰু নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য প্ৰতিষ্ঠান। ঠিকনাটো হৈছে ডক্টৰ বি বৰুৱা ৰোড, হাউচ নম্বৰ 52, ফাৰ্ষ্ট ফ্ল'ৰ, উলুবাৰী, গুৱাহাটী 7, ফোন নম্বৰ 9085083493, ইমেইল sanju_regal@rediffmail.com।